सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। प्रातः स्मरामि हृदितं स्फुरदात्मतत्त्वम् सच्चित्सुखं परमहं सगतिं तुरीयम् यत्स्वप्नजागरसुषुप्तमवेति नित्यम् तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्गः तपोभीक्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षो नामपेक्षोऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते। So, last lecture's topic of understanding emotion. After the technique or after the lecture also many of us could not understand. So we are repeating the same thing again due to some disturbance. To make it more simpler, the idea is when we talk of emotion, we only know emotion. So we know anger, jealousy, hatred, greed, all these things are heard of, and usually a human being plays in this field of emotion. So whenever you get angry, whenever you are angry, you feel as if I need to get my anger reduced. It should come down. So you go to a guru or a spiritual text and ask why the anger should come down. So as soon as you say the anger should come down, the other person will say don't get angry because you'll have a attack, hypertension or whatever it is, blood pressure will so high. And people come out and say fair enough, but how not to get angry? You can't understand until you understand from where the anger comes. That is why the diagram given to you is very, very important, because it is one thing which explains the whole genesis of from where most of the negative emotions which we experience, which pulls us down, come. So let's start right from the upward thread. The spiritual aspect or the textbooks and the teachers, they always say that you are the essential self. I am the essential self. So I am that absolute reality. When I don't understand my infinite nature, my absolute reality, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivo, if I don't understand who I am, the absolute reality, then I misunderstand myself to be an individual. When I don't understand and identify with the totality, there itself I tend to create an individuality. The ego is born. From these egos, that particular ego, comes vasana. This is a misunderstanding. Not understanding myself as the self, I assume that there is an emptiness within me. Self is defined as paripurna, completely full. It doesn't want anything from the world or anything else to enhance that experience of fullness. This is the self, our original identity. When I misunderstand myself that I am not that original identity, then I also understand that I am an unfulfilled personality. I assume, I assume that there is a void within me. It's an imaginary void. Remember, the void is not there. There is no emptiness. I am paripurna. But this void, this emptiness is imagined in the personality. When this emptiness is imagined in the personality, then the vasanas produce desire. So there is a slight mistake in the diagram. The diagram itself, there is no arrow between the self and the vasanas, indicating that there is no relationship whatsoever between the supreme reality and the individual self. Below the vasana comes desire, thought. Below the thought, there has to be a concept called attachment. I missed it, so that's my fault. You just draw when you're drawing in your notebook, you're maintaining a notebook. Just after thought, write attachment and then desire. So the thoughts start coming up to fulfill this void within me. Thoughts are generated from the individual, which goes out into the world to gain or to get those objects of desire, so that I feel a sense of completion. When I feel the sense of completion, I am all right. So is the assumption. But it is never completed because the void itself is imaginary. So the cycle starts. Thought starts, then thought develops, the intellect develops desires to go to the object and gain that object. As the thought progresses, it develops more and more, becomes a stronger bond. It's called attachment. I'll give you a simple example with the explanation so it becomes easier for you to understand. I have a thought. I don't have a thought. This is just an example. I have a thought that I should consume alcohol. Drink. Again, I repeat it. I don't have this thought. Just an example. I don't drink. I have a thought that I have to consume alcohol. That thought is just a straight thought. There is no problem with the thought. Anybody can have a thought and then you rise above it. Every time I'm walking, one of my friends, two of my friends, three, they will always keep on saying, so, aaj sham ka kya plan hai? Aaj sham ka kya plan hai? Aaj sham ka kya plan hai? I've seen this when I'm traveling in local train. Two people talking to each other and say, aaj sham ko. So I understand. So, the reminder of that drink, and I keep on reminding, acha, they are talking about alcohol. Acha. So it develops into attachment. What a beautiful way, you know. When you have alcohol, you feel so light. You feel so light because all that burden in the world, it just disappears. You feel like a king. It feels like you are on a cloud. I don't know all this. I'm just assuming from what's spoken. You feel like a cloud. And all these things create a desire. At least one. I should have. A desire is thought. So thought, regular thoughts towards a particular object, a desire is formed. I should have it. Now, I have got a bottle with my friends, and the first one is usually free. This is the way the society drags you. Any wrong thing, first cigarette is free, first drag of a drug is free, first thing about alcohol is free, anything wrong is free first, like your credit card. It's free initially. Everything is free. So it's free, you start taking it. Then do I get my drink or not? If I don't get my drink, I get angry. That anger comes. Where is my drink? I don't have it, the anger comes. And the anger is removed on somebody, some person around you. This is a regular thing you can see in an alcoholic's life. The whole family suffers because they have no idea what to do with this person. So that person drinks. When the drink is not there, the person gets angry. With angry comes delusion. Delusion means the differentiation between what is right and what is wrong disappears. It disappears. There is no difference after that. So whatever is right or wrong, there is a complete confusion. Whatever I am saying is right, it becomes that way. Tamastic personality without any consequence of what's happening to the world. This is the way I'll do it. I saw once in this corona thing on one guy from Kerala. He was running, he had a coronavirus and he ran away from the hospital. And all these people came to catch him. And he's saying, what's wrong? I'm just running. I don't want to get into that. They caught him and put him in the stretcher and put him in the hospital. Because one person runs, he can contact 150 people. But that person doesn't know, it doesn't matter. It's the other people are facing consequences is their problem. This is delusion. Not understanding what is right and not understanding what is wrong. With this, if I don't get, again, it goes into loss of memory. I forget the date, what's happening. This happened yesterday, that happened day before, completely mesmerizing, finished. Loss of memory, loss of intellect. Vinashakale viprita buddhi. The whole intellect, power of reasoning goes away. Remember, these things come when you don't get the desired object. Whenever you don't get, and this is not only alcohol, it has to be happen about money, it has to be happen about relationship, anything which you don't get, all these cycles will go. Till the loss of intellect. And loss of intellect, pranashyati, destruction guaranteed. Actually, sir, in my life, nothing like that happened. I thought about a drink. I did it, and I got my drink out. And I'm happy. No problem. My desire got fulfilled. Congratulations. Whatever is your desire got fulfilled. Are you happy with that? Can't be. Because the nature of desire is, you'll never be happy anyway. Whether you get the desire or not get the desire. I had a friend when I was in 10th standard. This boy was in 8th standard, in love with a girl who was in 6th standard. So the girl was walking down in the society and this boy said, should I just approach and ask whether I like her? I said, go. Up to you. Go, don't worry. What if she says no? Nothing. Just go and ask. He went and dad, 8th standard boy, he went and asked the girl. And he came running and hit his head like this. God, what's here? I said, it doesn't matter. If she says no, there are other people and you have got enough time. Nahi yaar, haan bol di. I said, you went to ask whether the girl likes you or not. Now she said, yes, I like you. What is the problem? Yeah, pocket money dete hi nahi hai upar wale. Baba, pocket money nahi dete, main kaise kharcha karunga? You will not be happy even when the desire is fulfilled. That desire may be fulfilled, something else will crop up. Greed will come. Now I am getting a bottle. But this bottle of alcohol, it doesn't have the substance. We should sit in a particular mahat, big house, light music, all those things, accomplishment with everything, and then sit like a king, and that is the way. Curtain vagara band karke, dark room, maybe a movie, a light, everything, chandelier should be dimmed. That mahat is important. Finished. Now from the drink, you got your drink, you're not happy, you want something else. A better bottle, a better brand, a better lifestyle. From there starts these two things. Greed has come. From greed, if you are really greedy, and every time that one greed is enough to finish you. That is why from the greed, in the diagram there is dot, 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 go to 1. If you see that properly, it's go to 1. And that 1 is there near anger. That greed is enough to take you back to destruction. If you escape from greed, Macbeth was greedy. He wanted to rule the kingdom, and in the hope of ruling the kingdom, he killed everybody, right, left, and center. And not only he killed everybody, he eventually destroyed himself also. As if life doesn't mean anything. He went to fight a whole gang of soldiers alone. Ultimately, they chopped his head off. So this attitude of doesn't matter what hoega, marenge na chalega. To that. If you escape from there, Macbeth was that, greed. If you escape from there, you come to arrogance. Ravana. Arrogance of what? Nobody can be more powerful than me. Nobody can have more money than me. Nobody can be of any repute more than me. Nobody can be more spiritual than me. Therefore, people stop everybody from going everywhere. Don't go there, don't go there, and they demean all the other gurus so that you come to us. This attitude of arrogance Ravana had. He had everything. The best life has to offer he had. And yet, the attitude was, I want to see, not Sita, I was not interested in Sita. I want to see how strong is this man, which Shurpanaka had praised that Ramchandra is really strong, is very handsome, very pious, and he looks all powerful. I want to see how strong. Therefore, he took Sita, just to find out, to fight with this guy. How can somebody be more stronger than you? And arrogance destroying him. So arrogance, one quality, enough. Go to 1, back again. From there, anger, delusion, shortage of memory, and loss of intellect, destruction. If you escape arrogance, envy, jealousy, even when nothing is there, you can always put the seed of jealousy. This is exactly what happened in Othello, where this Othello is a Moor, a captain of a ship, and there was a vacancy in this ship. And the vacancy he wanted to fill, there was a person in the ship called Iago, who had worked with Othello for 15 years, and he said, it is understood that I will be in that position. But Othello, Cassio became a person in the ship. Othello owned the ship, and Othello was married to his dream girl, Desdemona. Desdemona also loved Othello. There was a tremendous age gap difference. Desdemona, I think, was 21, and Othello was 47. This was the age difference. But Othello was fat, ugly, dark. Desdemona was exactly opposite of Othello, but they loved each other. And Iago knew that Othello is extremely strong, and he can't exact his revenge on Othello anyway. There is no way physically he can tackle Othello. So what he's thinking still, what should be done? What should be done? One day, he sees Cassio and Desdemona, both childhood friends, including Othello, Cassio and Desdemona walking on the deck hand in hand. Innocently they are walking. Othello is standing in the deck, and he is watching both people, and he is thinking, I must be the luckiest man in the world. This person is my best friend, and this is the person whom I love with all my life. Now we are all three together on a boat. What can be more better than this? Iago comes by the side and slowly whispers in his ear, oh, he takes her by the hand. I like not that. I don't like it. Othello looks and says, What did you say? Oh, nothing, my lord, nothing. After that, Iago gets his chance. Every time he pricks Othello with words which is literally poison to his ears, systematically, slowly. My lord, Desdemona is so fair, so beautiful. You must be so proud of having a wife with her, especially when she walks with Cassio. Cassio is so handsome, isn't he? This is what ultimately Iago finds a handkerchief, which his wife gives Desdemona's handkerchief. She stole and gave it to him. And Iago says, my lord, I had a dream. By that time, Othello is gone. Head is gone. So Othello is saying, what did you dream? I dreamt of your wife, Desdemona. See, how do you know a person's head is gone? If somebody tells me, I dreamt of your wife, I'll give one slap to that person. Boss, who are you to dream about my wife? But Othello didn't have the head at all. You dreamt of Desdemona. What was she doing? What was she doing? Oh, she was sitting just like that. And on her lap, Cassio was lying down. Cassio was lying on her lap. Yes. And what happened? And Desdemona picked up a drink and gave it to Cassio. And then Cassio picked up the drink and he sipped. A little bit of wine dropped in his beard. Lady Desdemona, your dear, beautiful, sweet, delicate wife, removed a handkerchief and gave it to him. He took the handkerchief, wiped it dust, and threw it away. By the way, and did he do that? Did he do that? Othello shouting. Did he? My lord, you are getting too serious. It was just a dream. Why are you taking so seriously a dream? By the way, I forgot to tell you that handkerchief on the side was embroidered O. That's my handkerchief. My mother had made for me in the marriage bed. I gave it to Desdemona saying, this is my mother's gift to you. Keep it properly. Just a dream. Why are you getting so sensitive? Just a dream. Don't take it too seriously. Yes. After all, your wife is beautiful character. She's so sweet. Yes. But don't forget, my lord, that it's the same lady who betrayed her father's trust to be with you. I should not forget. So, it's just easy to find out. Just ask her whether she has the handkerchief. 100% she will have the handkerchief. She will hand it over to you and you can dismiss the whole thing. Yes. Then I'll get my wife back. Yes, absolutely. My lord, but if she doesn't get the handkerchief, then what are you going to do, my lord? It must be by her death. Then I'll see what I can do. He goes and asks Desdemona the handkerchief. Desdemona has lost the handkerchief. She doesn't know where it is. He is confirmed that she is having an affair with Cassio, which is not there at all. One day he comes to Desdemona and says, come back to bed. Until then they were sleeping separate. Come back to bed and sleep. And wear your gown, wear your dress which you wore in the first night. She's so happy. She comes wearing the dress and she's sleeping on the bed. And the famous lines of Othello, he comes into the room. As he comes into the room, he sees his wife sleeping on the bed. The light is on. And then the line starts. I switch off this light and then I switch off thy light. If I switch off this light, I know how to rekindle it. But if I switch off thy light, I don't know from where do I get the Promethean heat that can rekindle it. And yet it must be that. It goes on. Desdemona gets up and says, my dear lady, you were sleeping. No, I was not sleeping. I was just lying down. Did you pray? Yes, my lord. Every time I pray. Every time. Before sleeping, I pray. Did you ask for forgiveness? Forgiveness, my lord? Yes, forgiveness. For what? for what you have been doing to my life. I have not done anything, my lord. You were going on with Cassio. What you are talking, my lord? There was nothing in that anger. Othello goes and takes the pillow and smothers her to death. He pins her down on the bed. The girl, the lady is struggling there. She is literally dead. He throws the pillow away and stands aside. All her noise, she is dragging herself to the bed. Half of her body is on the bed, half is below. She is hanging down. Her maid, Emily, she comes banging and says, my lady, my lady, my she who did this to you? What? Few that does she says, remember, Emily, I did this to myself. Nobody blames my Lord for anything. This is the purity of the demon. And she died. Emily is crying there. Othello is standing here. He looks at his wife dead. And he just says, lie, lie. Till the last dying breath, she lied. I have killed her. Then Emily is asking, why did you kill? Because your husband said that she is carrying. Oh, what are you talking? And then she says that I gave the kerchief to Iago. All hell broke loose. On the bed, he is cradling his wife, saying that I loved her, but I don't know how to go about it. And he cut his neck and died. Jealousy, envy. I have this, but I want that. And there is no end to it. These are the emotions. If you escape envy, if you escape arrogance, if you escape greed, if you escape anger, you escape any of these things, there will always be still something. Fear of losing. Now you have certain things in your hand. What will happen if you lose it? Lost, just lose it. In a Peaceful Warrior, please watch this movie. It's a beautiful movie. In this movie, there are these two gangsters who come against this boy, the hero, who's a gymnast, and his teacher, who's an old man. They call him Socrates. So he's sitting there, and both of them are walking. These two guys come with a gun, and they are trying to mug them. They say, whatever is money, come on. And this boy, gymnast boy, he knows the teacher knows the moves. So he just looked at the guy and said, guys, you picked up a wrong guy to pick this fight apart. And he looked at this guy. So Socrates, that old man looks, and then he says, he's talking to the thug. I don't have any money. Don has. So he takes the money. That boy says, are you serious? Yeah. And then he gives her. Then the other thug says, sorry. And as they are going to leave, this old man says, you don't have a wristwatch. I can see both of you don't have a wristwatch. So both the thugs turn back. And that boy says, Don says, now you're going to give it, right? Now you're going to give it. He says, I don't wear a wristwatch. Don wears a wristwatch. So he's saying, are you serious? And then he removes the wristwatch and this. So both thugs are going. Again he calls, excuse me, what size are you? He says, because, you have a good jacket. Don has a very good jacket. You can take our jacket. And that boy is saying, seriously, Socrates, how far you are going to go with this? Ultimately, they give up everything. They are in their literally undergarments and they're walking. And he says, what was this? This was giving up an illusion that you control things. This was giving up an illusion that you are in control of everything. Fear. I am responsible for that one case where the mother and daughter, the mother told me, sir, I have lost my sleep because the daughter goes down and plays. And whenever she goes down and plays, she is I think so around 8 or 9 years old. I have to look out of the balcony all the time to see where she's going because I'm afraid something will happen to her. Even when she's going down, fear of losing, and the beauty is there is no end to it. Whether there is vasanas, from vasanas, thoughts are created, from thoughts, desires, attachment is created, from attachment, desires are created. The desire can be fulfilled, yes or no, every time. Out of 10 desires, none of your 10 desires are going to be fulfilled. It cannot be fulfilled, not possible. So, 2 desires unfulfilled, that unfulfilled desires will create anger. It will create a wrong sense of what is right and wrong. It will see to it that you lose your memory on that. It will see that you lose your viveka buddhi, intellect with that, and ultimately you destroy. This, if the desire doesn't happen to materialize. If the desire happens to materialize, you will go through greed, more desires, either in the same plane or something else, which will give further rise to arrogance. You have things better than everybody, which can give rise to envy. Other people are better than you, which can give rise always to fear of losing either your own life or your property or your money or your relationship or something or the other. Imagine if you come to a state where you don't own anything. Imagine a state where you don't own, you mentally understand, I have come alone in the world, I'm going to go alone. Which is a fact, whether we like it or not. I don't own anything in this world. Whoever is around me, all the relationships, whether it is husband or wife or children or mother or father or brother, whoever is there around me, they are not my relation. They are only people around me, and I have been given the administrative charge of the whole situation. Once the charge is over, everybody will go on their own way. I don't own anything. This is not body. This body is given to me by something for some other reason. My mind is not my mind. My intellect is not my intellect. Neti, nothing. Then who am I? I am that supreme self. All the emotions. So how do they go about it? When you are going through all these negative emotions are only for people who are basically selfish by nature. Because when I said vasanas create desires, what are these vasanas? What are these desires? I want this to be done. It's a very simple thing. When the statement, I want this to be done, the I is in capital, this to be done is in small alphabet, then you are selfish and problems will start. When the I is insignificant and work to be done is important, that's where the work stands up, ego decimates. You sublimate the ego, and when you sublimate the ego, none of these things come. For sublimation of the ego, for none of these negative emotions to come, you need a powerful intellect. So next class, we'll dwell on the solution to get rid of all these negative emotions, which puts one to the path of self-realization. We'll continue next time. Thank you. Oh.